Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Not much room to update here. Hopefully we're going to see some movement around the weekly candle close, which will be in basically how many hours? 12, 14, 15, 16 hours. Yeah, we're going to see here the weekly candle close, depending on when you watch the video. There has really been minimal movement over the weekend. Quite a boring weekend from a chart point of view. As I said yesterday, a lot of people get frustrated in these markets. That is what they do, these markets. When it actually gets interesting, people get bored. People get bored out because, to be fair, I said it many times before, when you get to a new all-time high, that is when people should start to get less interested and start to scale out. While in markets like these, where a lot of people are not interested in crypto, people should start to scale in and should get interested, right? That's of course no financial advice, but it is generally what is much more useful in my opinion, because in the end, we are much closer to a bottom than we were last November, when a lot of people still bought. Yeah, a lot of people still bought the all-time high, which I encourage nobody to do, buying an all-time high, because there will always be a correction and there will always be another attractive entry point. Sometimes one just needs to be patient, but these are the periods where people get burned or bored. No, bored is the better word. Where people get bored, everybody's super hyped. You know, when you see new all-time highs, you see positive news everywhere. Unfortunately, people always buy the news instead of just watching the charts, rather. Yeah, and trading the charts and trading the counts and key levels. People rather trade the news, like for example, people trade the Ethereum merge, long, which was not a good decision, as we know, instead of just watching the chart and watching the counts and watching key decision levels, because with the merge, as you know, there was a really, really strong indication that we are heading down, which we did for Ethereum. Bitcoin, sideways movement, right? A bit of boring sideways movement. Let's start with my primary forecast and then we go and take a look at the alternative. They are both pointing to the downside. Here, this is the chart where we have that 5-wave move, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are now in wave 3 here. In wave 3, we've done, again, this is sort of my current interpretation of it. We've done wave A, we've done wave B. We should now be heading down in wave C, in which we've done wave 1 already, wave 2, and the wave 3 should now start. With wave 3, this should be quite a strong sell-off. Now, we haven't seen that movement to the downside really into the weekend that I wanted to see, but we also haven't really seen a recovery. So that rejection that we had from that key decision point here on Friday, that was, that indicated definitely that there is not much strength in this market. You know, we came up, we got rejected at one of the key levels I gave you, ABC, the same length, A and C, that was 20,160. We got rejected there. Bitcoin tried at various times to get into this box, failed. All these rejections are not a bullish signal, but also Bitcoin doesn't really move to the downside. So a lot of indecision here. Bitcoin very, 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 very sideways. Yeah, just not moving really at all, just sideways. That also always makes me move all these counts here to the right-hand side, which happens all the time if something takes a bit longer than expected. Here, this was beginning of September, we had this sideways movement as well, extremely boring, but then you see usually a very, very impulsive move happen afterwards. This was on the 6th of September. We had basically a month ago, we had quite a strong impulsive move after that, after this long sideways movement. That was on a Tuesday. Very strong move down after we had this sort of very long sideways movement, which looks very similar to what we're doing now here. And if we zoom in, really not much to report on. The levels remain the same. First of all, I'd say a breakout below 19,170 would help us to come down, and then the follow through below 18,860, that wave below, should give us a strong indication that we are finally heading down here in wave 3. With a target, which I can repeat again, I think I mentioned it in the previous video, with a target of around 17k for this wave 3, and then that would lead us to around about 15.8k for this circled wave 3. Then there will be a wave 4 up and a wave 5 down. That is this interpretation. However, it's looking a little bit out of phase for Ethereum, where I basically expect one more dip before we recover. Now that would be more in line with my other count here, where we've got Bitcoin as an ending diagonal as well, but just a slightly different count, where we can say that wave 1 was already done, wave 2, wave 3, and wave 4, and we're now coming down in a fifth wave, so we basically only need one more dip, and that would be pretty much in line with what I would expect for Ethereum. So maybe this one is going to work out after all, and it would mean one more dip in a wave C into the region around, maybe just below 17k, but I'm looking here at a 17k area, and then we could recover from there. Alternatively, another possibility would be this triangle pattern that you can see on the chart here as well in gray, where we said that all of this was a wave A of a triangle, this was a wave B of a triangle, moving up next in a wave C of a triangle, that could be Ethereum's wave 3, then we're going to move down in a D of a triangle, that could be Ethereum's wave 4, then we're going to move up in a triangle, which could be Ethereum's wave 5, and then they're all coming down and crash down. So that would be in phase with Ethereum, just basically a different degree of waves, or the fifth wave down here as indicated in a diagonal, making one more low and then recovering strongly and having the low in already here then. So these are sort of the different perspectives, my different interpretations of the Bitcoin chart. Generally, I do expect still lower prices. We can expect a larger recovery should we make it above 20.4k that you can see here, back into the green box. Then we have space all the way up to 22.1, and only if we get above 22.1, then I think I'm going to look at something much more bullish here. But for now, I would only believe when we get there. For me, everything's pointing still to the downside. It just takes a long time here. Yeah, and that's my update about Bitcoin. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.